some of you are wondering about the logistics of everything and how we're actually managing everything, because we're traveling in convoy and the vehicles have got different facilities available to them. So here are some of the logistics for you. My motorhome has a working fridge that I can turn up high enough that it will store frozen stuff for a while. So the main important thing to stay frozen for us, and the hardest thing for us to come across while we're en route, is raw frozen dog food. So my fridge is absolutely and utterly dedicated to keeping dog food frozen. Jim's bus, he hasn't got a fridge in his bus. He has some very, very, very cool, sorry, I'm just focusing on the road for a moment there. He has got some cupboards that stay remarkably cold, and so we tend to keep things in those that we're trying to keep cool for us to eat. So in those cool cupboards, I mean, butter, cheeses, they stay absolutely, vegetables, they stay absolutely fine down there. That was a taster of our communication whilst we're travelling. So we're driving through a sprout farm and they're all being harvested at the moment. So there's loads and loads of sprouts all being harvested. So yeah, the cool cupboards will keep milk, sausages, meat in general. We'll keep all that fresh for a couple of days. So generally speaking, we just are buying food and using it as we're on a route, which is absolutely fine. Give you an example. I like to go to the farm shops and to the smaller stores outside, try and avoid the supermarkets if I can. They're not totally avoidable because they're really easy parking and it's really easy to go in there and do some shopping. And the dogs are not only just on mince, they're on more chicken bones and chicken legs and stuff like that, so I can get those from the supermarkets. I can freeze them and I can keep them fresh here. I've got a cool box here, so as I start defrosting the mince for the use over the next couple of days, I will just use the fridge and freezer to handle the fresh chicken for the dogs. We will probably buy some meat and cook up a meal that will probably go for 2 days. That would be typical. We eat about three meals a day on average. So in the morning we might have some, depends. If we're hanging around the area, then we might have cook a fry up. If we're trying to get on the road to move on to the next spot, then it'll be toast and a cuppa. Coffee first thing in the morning, and then tea and toast, and then get on the road or walk the dogs, depending on what the situation is, or both. Walk the dogs and then get on the road. That's more normal. And then we'll stop and we'll have lunch, cheese and biscuits, or cheese and fresh bread if we manage to pick up some fresh bread, and admire some of the sights, go visit Stones or Fairy Realm, or just a lovely walk along the beach, or whatever beauty is around us at the time. Then back on the road again, drive to our next spot, which will be our sleeping spot for the night, and there we will either cook up a big meal that's going to be 2 days worth, have the leftovers from the day before. It's likely we've got some sausages and bacon that we need to use up if we haven't used it up for breakfast. so those last a bit longer in the van. So it might be sausages and bacon and mash or something like that. If we get caught short and we aren't anywhere near somewhere to get food from, then we might have beans on toast or an omelette or something like that, because obviously we can store eggs in the van for a long time. And then there's nothing like a wonderful hot chocolate to finish off the evening. I have bought a few naughty seasonal foods, the odd cake here and there, which we've added into our diet. I had as pudding or a snack. When you're on the road and there's only limited times of eating, you tend to eat. I tend to focus my eating in meal times more than snacking like I did, or I used to skip meals because I always felt like I could always have my meal whenever I wanted it, and sometimes that meant that I just forget meals. So I have to say that this is a more healthy lifestyle because it's got me into eating on a regular basis, and both of us have got our own kind of things that we like to be particularly healthy about, whether that's not having palm oil in our diet or avoiding processed sugars, processed food in general, trying to avoid anything where you can't say the name or recognize the name of an ingredient. So we tend to eat a lot of fresh stuff, whole stuff. In general, it lasts longer as well. I've got a pumpkin that I cut into at the beginning of the journey, and that I keep taking chunks out of and adding into stews or whatever we're eating, because you can kind of sneak it in there, and it's a nice filler, and it keeps really well in its own skin on journey. So yeah, very much on the eat as fresh as possible. And then you'll have the sort of sneaky chocolate, or I think it was popcorn I was eating in front of a movie the other night. So other logistical stuff. So as far as food's concerned, the fridge is run off of gas and the leisure battery when I'm driving, and the gas is what feeds the cooking facilities. So, and gas has not been a problem to get a hold of. We've driven past a few places. There was one time I had to actually search out a Calagas supplier to get a new tank, but other than that, it's been really easy to come across.